Today on the show, we want to talk about The Secrets of Dumbledore, starring Jude Law, of course, as the titular character, Dumbledore himself. I just wanted to see Jen's face when I said that word.
You know, it's one of my favorite words.
But yeah, no, look, Jude Law, Mads Mikkelsen playing Galette Grindelwald, and Eddie Redmayne playing the now kind of least important character in what was, originally his own franchise. The, Newt Scamander of the Fantastic Beasts movie. So this is technically a Fantastic Beasts movie. There are some Fantastic Beasts in it, to some extent, anyway. But that actually really felt like an afterthought to me. Like, it almost feel like the animal aspect of it was like, how can we throw in some of these things to make it worthwhile? And not, otherwise it was not really about Fantastic Beasts or where to find them. In fact, we kind of glossed right over the finding them part, even at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
He just had already found the
He'd already found
the beast. So
yeah.
Look, we'll get into the plot and story and all that kind of stuff. But I want to kind of go around the room and talk about the initial reactions. Mine was sort of decidedly meh, and I'm pretty disappointed in general because these films seem to have they started okay and then have just slid downhill pretty dramatically, which is kind of a bummer. Like, the second one was, in my view, really not good. I rewatched the first one recently, sort of in preparation of this, and I was like, it was okay. I didn't hate it necessarily, but I didn't have very many strong feelings about it, which is about how I felt when I watched it the first time. So, like, I don't really feel like I've changed my opinion all that much about it. The second one I actively loathed and thought was a terrible movie across the board, and did a lot of things with characters that this movie, I think, tried to undo, but kind of couldn't. So we'll get into that in a minute too. But this movie, just extremely disappointing. I don't know. Am I alone here? Jen, were you, how did you feel about it?
This was a 2.5 hour movie. And it was boring from like start to finish. They tried to put in some aspects to this that on paper sounded very interesting, but the execution just was not there. It was so dull and it lasted so long, and so many things just didn't work well.
Yeah.
And like they tried to make this almost like a mystery. We had a lot of different Chekhov's guns in this film.
A lot of MacGuffins in this movie.
A lot of
Too.
MacGuffins.
And then like an ending sequence with like a multiple MacGuffin, like duplicate MacGuffin.
Oh man,
like
it's
6 MacGuffins at once.
Fooled you. But there was no actual tension, and it didn't actually conclude anything.
Here's a really dumb Chekhov's gun from this movie is Dumbledore walking off with Kowalski, with Jacob Kowalski, who's one of the main characters from the first 2 movies, saying, "You'll have to tell me more about the 3-card Monty," and then 0 additional conversation about 3-card Monty, and 0 sort of 3-card Monty, like usage conceptually in the multiple MacGuffin section.
It
of
was
the movie.
just
like,
it was sloppy is what it was. This was just poor writing, poor direction, honestly, because other than Ezra Miller, I know all of those actors can do better than that. But they didn't, and that's not their fault. They can only do so much with the script and what the director wants. and it sucked. It was just not great.
Paul, I saved you for last because I have an inkling of what you're going to say, but unleash, sir.
Very rarely does a movie make me feel utter contempt for everyone and everything that was involved in the making of a movie. This movie is everything that is wrong with Hollywood right now. The story was nonsensical. It is the complete opposite of what made Harry Potter great. And even on the outside of it, the kowtowing to the Chinese Communist Party and taking out certain aspects of the movie, everything is just wrong with this movie. And frankly, I almost left the movie theater about 15 minutes in. That's how much this thing irked me right off the bat. So what really did it for me is right. We start this dark mountainous terrain with Newt Scamander, and he's going to find this deer thing. Deer thing has a baby, and then is immediately killed by I don't know who. They couldn't really see. And then a CGI fest fight happens. Newt loses. These bad people, who I have no idea who they are, abscond with Bambi. And the next scene, for some reason, they decided to slit Bambi's throat on screen and show its last breath before dying. Okay, that's disturbing. And that obviously shows Grindelwald's depravity. But then the rest of the movie, there's no other, even anything remotely coming to that level of violence, that level of death. Nothing. Nobody else dies, I don't think, in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's
the thing is, this is going to be a spoiler for the Harry Potter movies, which have been out forever, so I don't feel too bad about this. And for the Harry Potter books, but Grindelwald survives, right? Like Grindelwald is in Voldemort meets with him and talks to him when he is at the sort of the end stages of all the Deathly Hallows stuff, and they're looking for, what used to be Grindelwald's wand. Voldemort literally goes and finds him in like a prison somewhere and talks to him. So he survives this. So that was a given, right? Like from a narrative standpoint, like Rowling had to, she had to like have him survive the end of this movie. But you're right, Paul. It's weirdly like bloodless the entire time for somebody who is supposed to be this mass murderer, kind of lunatic,